Let's go out to Idaho and talk to Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
How we doing?
Partying, dude. What are you up to?
Just living another day.
There you go. It's better than the alternative. What's up, man?
Yeah, very sure. So my question for you is, how do I know when I need to put my family and or my wife on the back burner for a season?
Family's easier. Wife is another story. What's going on?
Right. So over the last few years, I shouldn't say I'm not much of a social person, because I am. But just lately, I've been kind of wanting to start dreaming and start doing more. But I get, like family members and or my wife, they're like, no, you don't want to do that. You're going to want to do this. Or you don't want to go there. You're going to want to come here.
Give me an example of what you're talking about.
So, like being debt-free. A year ago, I took a weekend for myself to really try to figure out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, because I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. Back in 2015, back at the end of 2014, I was debt free completely. I was just like, all right, I'm going to get into my career. I'm going to do the things that I want to do and just make a great life out of it. And I was in discussion with my mom, and my mom's just like, well, you're single, so, date a girl for a year, and see where that thing goes. And then, after a year or whatever, you guys get married. Well, in early 2015, I met a girl. We had a great time, met her family. And within 4 months of knowing each other, we were engaged. And by June, June of that year, we were married.
Okay.
Things were great. I was living life, things were going well. And then all of a sudden, we have a good relationship between each other, which is, that's not the bad thing. It's just that my debt-free status went from 100% to, hey, we need to go to the store and buy this. We need to go to the store and buy that. We need to do this, or we need to do that. And okay, you're right. Happy wife, happy life.
That's stupid advice.
Right. And so, and the years have gone by, but within the last year, I've really gotten tired of living paycheck to paycheck and having that status on me. And I was so happy. And then, I got your Own Your Past, Change Your Future book. And I was that book like literally woke me up. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go here. These are the plans I'm going to make. I'm going to include the wife and, include my family and show them, what this is all about. And I get kind of, well, it was great then, but maybe not now, or let's just do this, or let's just do that. So
all right, let me cut you off. Okay. Number one, your family's out of the picture. They don't get a vote.
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 40. And I think, for that reason, it's, for a long time, I'm the middle child in my family.
I am too.
And for the longest time, my family's always put me on the back burner, told me, let's not do this or let's not do that kind of thing.
Why do you keep asking your family?
Because I want their approval, I guess.
Okay, that's on you. Quit blaming them.
Right.
You keep going to them, and they keep giving you advice that's killing you. It's suffocating you. And you're mad at them.
Yeah.
Why? Don't give them that. They don't get that power. Look, dude, I love my dad. He's amazing. And I love my mom. She's incredible. Mm-hmm. My great-great-grandkids will talk about those two.
Right.
And I didn't ask them about moving to Nashville. I didn't ask them about becoming the dean of students at a law school. I didn't ask them about the job before that. You know why? They don't get a vote. It's my job.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Right.
I did ask my wife.
Right.
And let me tell you this. My conversation with my wife had very little to do with, I want to do this job over that job.
Mm-hmm.
It had to do with, I'm dying. Or her, more specifically, saying, I'm watching my husband die.
Right.
Is there something else you can do? And that is very different than, I want a status of being debt-free. I could give a crap about any status of any kind. What I want is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And part of freedom, part of this idea that I can kind of do what I want within the bounds of the law, part of that is because I don't owe anybody any money.
Right.
But I don't want the status of debt-free.
Yeah.
Similar, I wanted to write a good book. I didn't care about that as much as I want people to have more peaceful lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sick of the mental health narrative that's out there. And so
I
have a show. So I wrote a book. And when I sat down to write a book, I decided I want to write a good book.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted, it made me feel good when I got the call from the text message from Dave Ramsey telling me, dude, your book just went #1. That was awesome.
Right.
And that's not a status I was trying to get. You know why? Because that status lasts about 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But having people all over the country say, and all over the world actually say, dude, I had a conversation with my wife that I've never had.
Right.
I'm going to counseling for that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But my guess is you've never sat down with your wife and said, honey, I can't breathe.
And and I'll be honest with you, I have tried, and she's just like, well, maybe we need to do this differently, or maybe we need to do that differently. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. But then, like, for example, a year ago, I took a weekend to myself to really kind of just, kind of make a plan. Took the weekend, I came back and I sat down with my wife and I said, look, this needs to change and this needs to change. And she just kind of, okay, and nothing's changed. Well, and so
hold on.
To this point,
what did you tell her needed to change?
I just said that we need to be a little bit more, we need to get on a budget. We need to.
Okay, that's where you went wrong.
Work together.
You disappeared for a weekend and you came back with a plan for her.
True.
When you go away for a weekend, I come back and I just did this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't take a full weekend, but I got away for a day after basically being out of pocket for a year, writing a book, selling a book, being on the road, being all over the place. And I got super sick and I was laid out for a week, and then I had an event, and then I was immediately back on the road. I took a day.
Right.
And then I circled back, and you know what I told my wife? Here's what I need to do moving forward for this upcoming season.
Okay.
And that way she didn't have to fight me, because I didn't look at her and say, you're going to need to start doing this, 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 and this.
Right.
See the difference?
Yeah, I do.
You, my friend, have to take some ownership.
Okay.
And that might look like, honey, I refuse. I'm just not going to borrow money anymore because I can't breathe.
Okay.
If you choose to borrow money, we need to have deeper conversations about our marriage. Because whenever I say I can't breathe and you say, well, I'm going to buy this anyway, it feels like that thing you're buying has more value to me than I do, more value to you than I do.
Right.
Every bit of that conversation is not about what she's doing. It's about how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two different things. See what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
But your parents, stop asking them.
Right.
And if they say, hey, man, why are you... Hey, Mom, Dad, I'm 40. I got to start making some of these calls on my own. I appreciate y'all. I love you. Right?
Right. I bought your newest book and, won that bundle. And when I saw that video, I've watched that video constantly.
Which one?
And that thing you gave that you talked about.
Oh, gotcha. The 4 things, choosing freedom. Yeah.
Yeah. And I shared that with my mom, and I sent it to her and I said, hey, you got to watch it. Well, about a month later, we were on the phone and she's just like, I can't believe it. I said, what? She's like, you were totally right. And I said, well, what do you mean? She goes like, I've had to watch it. I've listened to that thing and I've watched that thing like a dozen or so times now. And I was just like, that's what's changing this whole attitude of my life. That's changing my direction. And she goes, well, I will approve with anything you want to do, because, that's...
She doesn't get your approval.
Right, no. I mean, I'm not saying the approval. I'm just saying the fact that I'm headed that way, whether you like it or not, kind of a thing. And she goes, you needed to do this a long time ago. And I was just like, well, of course I did.
Awesome.
Kind of a thing.
Good.
But it was great to hear that my mom's just like, I have to listen to that thing over and over again, because you know what? I don't have to have everybody at the house. I don't have to have,
and she's on her own adventure, dude. So, if she comes to you in 6 months or a year and says, hey, I see you're glowing. I see you laugh a lot more. I see every time we go to dinner now, you pick up the check and you pay for it in cash. I see you saying, hey, we're not going to be able to do holidays this year. Or we're only buying one gift a person. Everybody make peace. Because that's what we're doing. I had that, by the way, I had that conversation with my son this morning for breakfast. I'm recording this show on a Tuesday. I had that conversation this morning. Hey, by the way, son, this year, we're just going to do 2 nice things, and I've already got them. And we're going to do a couple of neat, adventures. And that's going to be Christmas. And he smiled and goes, you said that the last 2 years. And I go, I know, but this year I'm being for real. And he goes, that sounds great. But I had that conversation with my son today. You know why he didn't get a vote? He doesn't get a vote. But his mom does. Yes, it probably felt validating, and you felt vindicated when your mom said, man, you were right. We should have done this a long time ago. She doesn't get a vote when she's telling you you don't want to do that. She also doesn't get a vote when she tells you, oh, you're so right, son, because you're still going to her for approval. It's cool, but dude, you got to stop seeking your mom's approval. You're 40. You have to decide, how do I want my house to feel when I walk in? What am I going to take ownership? I'm going to take ownership of how I feel and my thoughts and my actions, period. Honey, I can't ever borrow another dollar again. And if you do, I'm going to feel like the image that you're trying to hold up is more important than me being able to sleep all night or be intimate with you or to be at peace with our kids or whatever's going on. Will you walk this with me? Hang on the line. I'm going to send you Financial Peace University. I'm going to send you the courses, the 9 lessons. Here's what I want you to do. Here's my challenge. And I'm in one of those lessons, or maybe 2 of those lessons. Here's my challenge. I want you to ask her, would you be willing to watch these videos with me? Just be willing to watch them with me. It would mean the world to me if you did that. Give that a shot. And here's the deal. She might say no. And if she says no, your marriage is in bigger trouble than you think it is. Because y'all need to have that conversation. That's something of super value, super importance. She's like, nah, I'd rather have a Suburban. I'd rather have a Suburban and a dead husband than a used whatever and a husband who laughs a lot and is full of joy and has retirement and doesn't owe anybody any money. I'd rather the shiny thing now. Thanks, though. Y'all got bigger issues, bigger fish to fry. My super guess is, Ryan, she's sick of playing second to your mom at 40. If you start the conversation with, I have been hanging on to my mom and dad's approval for so long, I'm done with it. From this point forward, it's just you and me. She might just melt into a puddle on the floor. I'd start there. Thanks for the call, my brother.